2, 1. Nik Robbins, you are live on the Happy Hustle podcast, my brother. Welcome to the show.
Awesome, man. Happy to be here. Looking forward to chatting.
Man, you are definitely a happy hustler and one of the most hardworking, just like hustlers that I really do know, but also happy as hell. So I knew I had to bring you on the show and rock the mic and share your love and light with the happy hustlers out there. Now, I know you as this, multi-million-dollar online entrepreneur, this really charismatic individual who's so invested in personal development and growing his mindset and helping others in the process. But what I want to ask you is, what's something that not too many people know about you? What's something interesting that you can share with the happy hustlers?
Yeah, man. Well, first off, I appreciate that introduction and that very kind, description there. But the biggest thing, man, that I would want people to know is it wasn't always like this. A decade ago, everyone's got a story, right? Everyone's got a story about why they are who they are. About a decade ago, I had a lot of issues with drugs, alcohol, arrests multiple times. I think I took 7 years to get a 4-year degree at 2 universities, 6 community colleges, 2 states, and 5 cities. Let's just say I had some fun. But the fun started to shift to nastiness, right? So that's the biggest thing, is that that I love to share about. It's not, I didn't just wake up one day and was just all happy all the time, right? Like, it's something that you work towards, you strive. Happiness is not something that you do, is something you are. And so it comes from so much else. And so that's the biggest thing. Wasn't always like this. Let's just say that took some more to get there.
Wow. I mean, that is definitely interesting and something that I think people maybe overlook. They see the success, but they don't see what it took to get there, right? And it's so important for people like yourself who are on the other side to show people who maybe aren't there what it takes, and also what adversity strikes and how you must overcome. So I love that story. And, I'm sure we could dig into some of that and really extract tons of lessons. But what could you say is the biggest catalyst from where you were and what you did to get you where you are now? What is that secret sauce, if there is such a thing, that really helped you transition from, drugs, alcohol, crime to now, where you are today?
Yep, I could talk for a whole 3-day weekend this, but I'm going to sum it up in a couple quotes. And that is this: for things to change, you must change. And don't wish it was easier, wish you were better. So there was a day where I started to take responsibility, because if you want to make more money, for example, money is literally, this is how you create more money. You're going to be paid in direct proportion to the amount of value that you bring and the difficulty in replacing you. All right. And so you need to work on yourself, your skill sets, what value you bring into the marketplace, what problems are you solving, and then you can go out and get what you want. We live in this culture right now where people want instant success or overnight success, or to be influencers, or give me this, or they're victims about being held down. It's no. All you can control in this life is you, your behavior, your actions. So obsess with perfecting and chiseling the perfect you. All right. I call it skill stacking. Stack skills on top of each other that can make you valuable to the marketplace, whether you're working a job or you're running your own business, doesn't matter. So that's the biggest thing. For things to change, you must change. So I did that by an obsession with personal development and training, and hundreds of thousands of dollars on coaches and books and thousands of books and all that stuff later over the last decade.
Yeah, it's such a great point. You must rise to the occasion, you happy hustlers out there listening. It is time to step into your full power and become that person that you want to be. And Nik didn't just do it overnight. It was years of honing his craft, stacking skills, investing in himself. And that's one thing that I truly love about you, man, is you spend more money than anyone I know on personal development. Anyone I know. It's like, oh, 40K here, 100K here, 10K here. No one I know spends money on personal development like you. But obviously, that's why you are where you're at. And I love that mindset about personal development and what it takes to be successful. Can you maybe break down what your mindset is regarding investing in yourself and
had a little breakout there, but here in regards to my mindset, investing in myself, here's this thing: success leaves clues. All right. Life is about noticing patterns, and patterns and habits is what's going to get you the results you want. There's not some magical thing that can happen. It's literally understanding the right patterns and taking the right actions and putting in the habits. So if I want to go out and make more money, for example, or if I want to get better health, or if I want to do whatever, I'm going to go out, find someone who's done it, and then pay them in order to learn what their model is and just follow their model, right? There's a lot of noise in the marketplace. There's a lot of mentors. I don't suggest having a ton. Find someone who has what you want, learn from them, and go out and do it, right? And that can even be done from afar. You don't necessarily need to pay somebody 40 grand to start modeling what they're doing, right? That, again, life isn't magic. It's cause and effect. It's you do an action, you get a result, right? You do an action, you get a result. If you get a good result, do more of those actions. If you don't like the results you're getting, change your actions, right? It's very simple, right? But we humans tend to not think about that. Oh, I'm tired all the time. It's like, well, what have you been doing? What have you been eating every day? You know, but no one's tracking those things, right? So I love investing. It's the best ROI I've ever received on anything, not only just from a happiness standpoint, but also from a monetary standpoint and everything there. And honestly, if you don't have money to get started with mentors, go read books. And honestly, YouTube. I listen to YouTube, Wayne Dyer, Tony Robbins, Jim Rohn, Les Brown, every single day of my life. And that's not an exaggeration. Every single day. I've heard them all. I've heard what they said 1,000 times. I've given Tony 25K and been to every seminar he read.
Yeah.
Like, still do them every day, right? Because that's the next thing about investing in mentorship or personal development. Things don't happen overnight, and repetition's the mother of all skill. We need to get it inside of our brains so that it rewires us so that we can actually go out there and do what these mentors are telling us to do. And you don't really get that by reading a book once and then not taking any action like most people. You actually have to go out and put out the work. It drives me, it's absolutely absurd to me when people say someone like Tony Robbins is like, I read the other day that somebody said that he was the world's most professional con man. And I'm like, you've literally never listened to a word this guy says, have you? Like, you have to be so insane to think that. Like, that's crazy. Like, just because you didn't do anything with what he said, like, doesn't mean that he's a con man, right? So anyways, that was a long roundabout with it. Investing in yourself is the best ROI you'll ever get. And it's the one that most people do the least of. Like, they'll invest in shoes and cars and all that stuff. I'm wearing basketball shorts and an $8 t-shirt. Like, I don't spend money on that. Now, I'm not saying you have to be like that and not buy anything, right? But like, invest in yourself over investing in materialism, and upgrading your lifestyle is always what I believe in, because eventually you'll be able to have any lifestyle you want if you invest in yourself enough.
Yeah, beautifully said. And it is exactly what you said. You have to put forth the time every single day, because repetition is the mother of all skill. In order to really ingrain these personal development, lessons into your DNA, you have to continuously input those different lessons. And it's not going to happen overnight. It does take years. He's still listening to personal development every single day. You happy hustlers listening. It's not just like, hey, I do it Monday and Wednesday and Friday. It's every day. And if that sounds exhausting, well, that's just the cost of success. And if you want to be successful, you got to buck up and you got to get it done. And that's, what Nick does. And personally, Nick and I have been accountability partners for a long time. And we also, are biohacking brothers. And it's like, I see this guy on the regular. He's a machine. He's not just talking personal development. He puts out content. He puts out, really valuable courses and crushes it in business and with his agency and with his clients. And it's all because he's doing the work. So if you guys have a dream and you want to start an online business, which we're going to get into those 7 steps, because Nick is by far one of the best people I could ever bring on this show to tell you exactly how to break down the steps, because he has a very elegant way of just telling you straight to the point what needs to get done. But if you have a dream in a business, well, just realize it's going to take effort and you can accomplish it. Like, look where Nick was. Now look where he is. And he still retains his humble roots, but ultimately in the process, he's become this, multi-million-dollar entrepreneur who's helped millions of people. So Nick, what I want to get into is
really,
those 7
quick,
steps.
man, before I go over the 7 steps, but I want to talk about something like that, because there's a lot of people who struggle with creating habits, and it's even harder now than it's ever has been before, because we're surrounded by dopamine blasting machines with our cell phones. If you don't understand what dopamine is, I'm going to give you a quick hint on that. Understanding how to turn low dopamine releasing activities, reading books, working on your business, into high dopamine activities is going to be the catalyst that changes your life. So what do I mean by that? I mean, you need to give up your phones a little bit. Because what happens is, and why it's so hard for most people to sit down and read a book, is because it's so much easier to go play a video game or have a drink or alcohol, right? Or go and watch internet porn or something like that, where we're having these dopamine hits that go off. And by the time we're doing those, it's so hard for us to do some of the lower dopamine activities. So if you remove some of the addictions from your life, and technology is the biggest one by far, right? Not even close. And I mean, for me, it's drugs, things like that. I've always been a dopamine chaser, but the biggest shift is being able to learn that there's no better high that comes from living in peace inside, which comes from reading books and learning about how the mind works and how to reoperate, and then having financial freedom and financial abundance, which came from sacrificing everything in order to actually build that. So now those are the dopamine triggers, because now I listen to more books than ever before, because I've attached happiness to it. I've attached that my dopamine triggers are released when I do read a book and I get an insightful thing from one page of a book. Oh man, it's like freaking, like when I back in the day when I used to rail a line, like, I mean, that's how excited I get these things. No, it's healthy, right? So I've traded one addiction for another. I have a very addicted personality, but like I really encourage people, and I know we're going to talk to businesses, to look into dopamine detoxes and start understanding the way that your brain is completely fucked up right now, because of what's going on with social media and these phones and all this stuff. If you're feeling borderline anxiety, if you're feeling borderline depression all the time, like remove your phone and stop watching the news and get off of social media, go outside, open a book, and then just do that for a few days and you'll watch everything transform, right? Because the source of most people's anxiety right now is social media, comparing themselves to other people, or yelling about, political BS echo chambers, right?
Yeah.
Or watching the news where they're just driving fear everywhere. When if you look around, most things are actually pretty good. Does that mean there's no sadness in the world? Of course not. There's all kinds of stuff. There always has been. So we just got to look for it. So remove the dopamine detoxes. Now we can talk business, but I wanted to bring that up because that's the key. You have to figure out how to attach pleasure to doing some of the activities that might not sound so fun at first, and they eventually become fun.
So well said. To your point, dopamine detoxes are essential. We are so connected in this modern day world, and there's so many notifications coming at us left and right, and the news and the crisis and, what is going to happen next. And social media in its own right just is a productivity killer.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I like to do is just have a full day where I detox from all tech, usually on Sundays. And I think that's essential. And also the first hour, at least the first hour of your day, you should not touch your phone if possible. If you have to get up and do a meeting, okay. But, reading first thing in the morning is how I like to start, in journaling, reading, journaling, going through my morning routine. I know you're a big reader. I'd like to ask, how many books do you read on average?
It'll depend on the time, but at least one a week, sometimes two. Depends on how many courses I'm watching that week at the same time. Because if I've invested in courses, that can take up some of the reading time. But not a day goes by that I'm not learning or reading something new. And I don't mean like websites. I mean like books or watching a course or something like that. And to your point, the last thing I'll say on the motivational side, and we'll jump into the business, morning motivational baths. All right. I've been saying, people have asked me, man, what do you think the number one reason is to where you are? I'm like, my morning motivational bath. What that is, for those of you who are wondering, is I get up, meditate, and then I literally jump on a rebounder trampoline and I just blare motivational messages. Like you can just Google them on YouTube, just type motivational speech with music. And like over time, it like rewires your brain. It gets you pumped up and ready to attack the day. I always believe in approaching my day proactive. So many people wake up and they're in reactive mode. They're responding to texts and emails and notifications and getting pissed at, what the president said or what the CNN said or whatever, right? Like they all suck. Like, so stop looking at it.
Yeah, right.
So anyways, morning motivational bath, because Zig Ziglar has a great quote. Motivation's a lot like bathing. You need it every day. So I was like, boom, I'm just going to do it every day. And I did.
Yeah.
I don't miss a day.
I love that. And I have a morning motivational mantra that I recite every single morning on the rebounder. And then I step into my power and I get after it. But I know exactly my mantra, and I know and I look at the sun and I stretch. And you gotta be proactive in the mornings, guys. You have to be. That's why we want to do this one early, so we can get this message out early. So you guys watching right now, now's the time to be proactive. Go do something that helps you grow, that will, add value to your life, not just, scrolling on social media. Trade that with listening to this podcast, listening to something, of value, that motivation. That's how you're going to transform your life and start something, that helps others in the process. So very well said, Nick. Before we dive into all the business good stuff, I want to ask you a question I ask all my guests, which is taking it back to baby Nick, when you were a child. What was your childhood like, and what was your first hustle?
Oof, that is a great question. So my parents were divorced when I was 3. There was bankruptcies involved. They moved around a lot. And I was raised by my aunts and uncles. I love my parents, and so I don't want to try and say that I had like a negative. My dad, everyone did the best they could. My mom was a huge inspiration of hustler. She worked multiple jobs, worked her way up. My first hustle was hustling literally everyone in high school and all my teachers. I showed up late to classes. I was a punk. I would like literally go smoke cigarettes in the corner and they wouldn't tell on me. I got PE teachers to drive me around on those little golf carts that they always had to take me to the front of the lunch lines. I actually used to, and this is like, I'm not proud of this.
Yeah.
The lunch line lady and me became really close friends, and she let me borrow or take some extra meals on a daily basis and knew that I was reaching them and putting them behind and walk through and put them out. And it was with her approval, and she was good because she's like, oh, my daughter loves you. You're so nice, blah, 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 blah. So there was a lot of charisma and things like that. I learned early on when I was like in between, 14 and 18, that I could talk my way into a lot of things, talk my way out. So the first hustle would definitely have been hustling teachers. There were some teachers that, I'd have all the answers written on my hand and they knew it and didn't even say, I don't know why, looking back, I didn't get in more trouble, but hey, what are you going to do? So that would be the first hustle, was really getting through high school and just getting away with a lot more than most people could. And things I'm just like proud of either, but it was a hustle.
I hear you. I've equally was in the principal's office multiple times throughout all of my school years, and my mom made great friends with the teachers and the supervisors, and she'd always start off every year giving everyone gifts because she knew they were going to be needed, because I was the class clown. I had to just put on a show, and I wasn't malicious. It just I didn't think
to the front of the lunch line with the teacher. Wanted to show up late.
Yeah, right. Well, let's get into it. I know the people watching and listening are super interested in the online marketing must and creating a digital empire, and really those 7 steps to starting your online business. Let's break it down for them. Let's take it. I know you teach high level, multi-million-dollar entrepreneurs and have clients who are crushing it. Let's take it back to, a little more rudimentary, so people watching can actually leave this interview knowing, okay, these are the steps that I can use to start my own online business. And now more than ever, that's what's needed, given the crisis. So let's break it down for them step by step. What's step number 1 to starting your online business?
Absolutely. So first thing I want to mention for anyone listening, anybody can do this. And if you have these things, all right, there's a few things at the beginning that you must have if you want things to work. Oftentimes people will, fall in love with a product or a service and there's just no market need for it. So the first thing I want to talk about, and step number 1 that you need, is you need a niche. And a niche can't just be everyone who's overweight, for example. It just can't be like an entire, population. In fact, right now, what you need to do if you're just getting started, you need to get niche the niche and really just go deep, super duper deep. And I'm going to give examples of that so you understand what I'm saying, okay? When a niche is really just a market of people, right? But you can't necessarily, let's say that you help somebody lose weight, okay? You can't just go and say, I help you lose weight, because that speaks to nobody. There's a billion of those over there. How are you going to get, involved with anybody? Now, here's a little bit more attractive market that you can really serve. I help mothers who are over the age of 35 who recently had babies lose the 10 pounds of baby weight. Now that's a niche. That is a market, right? That's a market. Here's another one. I work with, this is how we blew up our agency. We didn't just work with chiropractors. We work with integrated medical chiropractors who focus on treating patients who had osteoarthritis of the knee, and they treated them using hyaluronic acid injections. All right. And the only patients they wanted were patients over the age of 65 who had Medicare insurance so they could get the actual treatment. That's niching the niche. I didn't just go say, hey, I get customers for chiropractors. I worked with knee pain patients who had osteoarthritis of the knee who needed hyaluronic acid injections for the chiropractors. Same thing if you're working with attorneys. Don't just go out there, especially if you're brand new and you're a digital marketer, don't just go out there and work with, every attorney in the world. Just be like, I work with diverse attorneys to get XYZ type of clients, right? You don't work with realtors. I work with realtors who sell luxury homes or first-time home buyers, right? It doesn't have to be just for marketing, right? This can be for people solving, bulimia for young girls, or it could be for people who, there's just, it's endless of opportunities and markets. But the key here is you need to get very specific in your niche, and then you need to also have step 2, which is a real problem in the market, right? So let's say that you work with, chiropractors, or you work with engineers. Like, you need to find out what is a real problem that you can go out and solve, okay? Because if you think about it, and I want everyone to really listen in because this is so critical when you think about business. Like business can get really complex, but at the end of the day, all it is solving a problem for an individual. Because here's how the global economy works. You and I, we wake up in the morning and we go out there, we're in a current situation, current state, and we want to get to a desired state, right? And so basically all you're doing is buying a product or service to take you from your current situation to your desired situation. All right. And that's solving a problem, whether that's a need for more toilet paper, or it's a new TV so you can feel cooler watching the game when you have people over, or if it's a new dress, or if it's new shoes, or if it's to fix a hole in the wall. That's all it is solving a problem. Right. And it can be for both, real actual problems, like, if your house is flooding and you need to go fix it, or it can be for materialistic things, like you want to feel nicer when you have guests over for, nice couch or whatever it might be. Right. That's solving a problem. So understand that the global economy works with people waking up in one situation, trying to buy another, and that is trying to solve one of their problems. And a business in its simplest form is solving a problem. So you must be solving a real problem out there that the market and niche is interested in. All right. So those are the first two steps. Have a niche in a market, a niche market, and then solve a problem for that niche.
Yeah, those are great first steps. And I personally can speak to my own experience when I didn't niche down enough, when even, with the happy hustle, I could go so many different directions. And we even discussed it. It's so essential that you choose a niche. You could always expand later, but solve one person's problem and do it to your best of your ability. That's niching down. And I know JLD from Entrepreneurs on Fire says, niche down till it hurts,
Yeah, I love it. That's perfect. It's so true.
Yeah.
Hyper specific. Because here's what we got to understand. We live in a world right now where with digital advertising, you can put your ad in front of anybody. Like you can put your ad in front of the craziest stuff. Back in the day, it was harder to niche down because you'd have to send like 1 billion direct mail pieces and spend a boatload of cash, and you just didn't really have all the money to niche down. Now we can get in front of these individuals, and I'll talk about more of that later. So those are the first two steps.
Yeah. What's third? Let's get it.
You have a solution. Okay. And your solution could be a digital course. It could be a product. It could be a service. Doesn't matter. Right. You have a solution to those individuals' problems. Okay. I'm not going to go super deep in the solutions because that's what you've got. And honestly, your solution doesn't need to be that crazy. You do need to be able to put a unique twist on it. And I'll talk more about that in a moment, right? Like if you think about it, I'll give you a quick example of somebody who brought back a solution that is hilarious to me, but it's great. But let's talk about like Dave Asprey for a second. Dave Asprey, he put butter and coffee together and sold it to a new group of people. Like that's what he did. He learned about it from like the T's. He's a genius marketer, brilliant. I actually have bulletproof coffee downstairs, right? But his solution,
I got some right here.
There you go. To give high performance. It's like it's been around for a while. Like people have been doing that. People have had coffee before, and it's like he just put it together and he gave them a unique solution. But he also, most importantly, was going after a very specific market and niche of people and sold them in a specific way. Those people who were the biohackers, the intermittent fasters, the people who were in the ketosis world, that type of stuff, right? And so that's why your solution doesn't need to be the craziest thing in the world, right? You just need to be able to put a unique situation on it and sell it to the right or to the right niche, okay? So you have a solution to the problem, whatever that is, right? Then the next thing you need to understand is you need to understand the frustrations and pains in the market so you can start building specific messaging, okay? Because now we're going to get ready to start attracting these individuals in. We've got our solution. Now we need to start getting ready to market to people. And in order to market to people, you need to know what are their pain points, what are their problems. The biggest issue that I see with so many different marketers, or not just marketers, sorry, with business owners, is they get all hunky-dory about like how cool their solution is, right? Marketers do this even. If you're a marketer and you're trying to sell people and sell business owners on how cool your pixels are, or your follow-up system, or the fact you can upload a 256 pack in Facebook, or the lookalike audiences at 1%, that's all noise to them, right? We need to focus on the pain points of the market. Doctors do the same thing. They'll want to go out there and they'll promote, hey, we've got the advanced metachlorine count in our stem cell here that's going to be able to, turn you into an advanced human being, and amniotic fluid and adipose and all this stuff. It's like, no, that's not how we're going to market to them. You can talk about those things once you get them in the program. We need to build messaging around the individual as the pain. Are you struggling with knee pain? Are you struggling with swelling, getting up the stairs, right? Hitting on those emotional things. So the fourth step is to start understanding the pains and frustrations of the market so that you can really start to develop your messaging, because your messaging is what's going to carry you to the next one.
Great point there. And I just want to touch on it because it is something that I see with entrepreneurs all over the world is they fall in love with their product, not their customer. And you have to fall in love with your customer and the problem that you're solving. And you will develop innovative solutions and a unique selling proposition. Yes, in order to continue to iterate and market effectively, but essentially you need to fall in love with your customer and the problem you're solving when you are entering business. So great points there. I love that step. What's the next one?
Yeah, and most people really don't care how you solve their problem. Like, they just want to do it quick, instant. Like, I mean, it could be, wackiness that you do. If they believe you and they trust you, they don't really care, right? So I would let go of that, focus on how you can paint the picture of them getting that desired situation, right? So the next thing we need to do is we need to figure out where they hang out. Where are they online, right? This is really important to take our messaging. Every niche, every market, that's why it's so important to niche down, is they hang out somewhere. Are they on Reddit? Are they in Facebook groups? Are they in forums online? Are they in trade journals? Are they showing up? What events are they showing up to? Are they going to be on YouTube? Is there YouTube channels that they watch? Facebook ads? Where do they hang out? Because we need to start to build a campaign to actually go out and outreach them. There's two places where pretty much everyone on the planet hangs out, right? And I'll give them to you now for getting started. Okay, you can pretty much find anyone that you want on LinkedIn or on Facebook, right? Those are the two places where everybody is. All business owners, all people are on Facebook, and then all types of business owners are on LinkedIn. By the way, business owners are on Facebook too, and it's a great place to connect with them. Different story. But you want to start figuring out where do they hang out, because now we need to start to deploy our messaging, get content out there, get messaging out there that speaks to them as if we understand their pains, right? So if I'm messaging a doctor or marketing to a doctor, for example, I know that their pain points are bouncing from marketing company to marketing company. They're tired of poor quality leads. They're tired of no-shows. They're tired of inconsistent new revenue. They're tired of being overwhelmed. So I'm going to put an ad or put something out there that says, hey, doctor, are you tired of no-shows and are you tired of poor quality leads and not making enough money and all this stuff? Then blah, 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 buy my, check my service out, right? Because I've solved the problem. I work my way backwards. We get the problem, and then we build a solution, and we understand their true pains, and then we message back in, right? It should never be the other way around. We need to be solving a problem. So we find out where they hang out. So that way we can get ready to deploy our campaigns and our funnels, which is going to be the next step. Okay, now we're on step 6, right? Is the funnel, right? How are we going to get their information? Okay, is that going to be a direct message sequence? Is that going to be driving to them a landing page that has a quick video on us that captures name, email, and phone number, books a call? Some of this is really going to depend on the type of product or service you sell, but there's really only a couple different types of funnels. A lot of people get confused on these things, but all a funnel is to gather name, email, phone number. Simpler is better. I know some people might know Russell Brunson in here, and you like still has complex, fancy stuff. It's like, man, you don't always have to do all that. I love Russell, obviously, but yeah.
No, I mean, it's very, very true. You have to get very simple with the funnel building process. And even Russell's best converting, landing page is like the most simple page ever. It just has opt-in, clear message, solving a problem. And, he even talks about it in the inner circle meeting. So I think it is something where people they hear the word funnel, or they think all this tech that may weigh them down. But in essence, it's simpler is always more effective, So I really think that is a great point there. So now the steps, guys, from 1 to 6. You got to find the niche, right? First and foremost, niche down till it hurts. Then solve the problem, right? What is the problem that you're solving, first and foremost? Then the solution, getting clear how you solve that problem, knowing your customers' frustrations and their pains. That's how you can really start to hone your messaging, which is step number 5. And then, you have to know where they hang out in that process. Obviously, if they're on, LinkedIn, you're not going to put an ad out on Snapchat. It doesn't make sense. You're not going to find your target avatar there. So you have to know where they hang out. And then you build the funnel, something simple that you can collect their data, their leads. You can market to them with different video sales letters. You can build your business, from this page and drive them to your offer, right? So what's the next step?
The last one is perfecting your sales process. Step 7 is your sales process, right? We've got the funnel, we've got them in. Now we need to perfect the sales process. If we're selling a low ticket $27 thing, great. We need to lead to that in the funnel and perfect it. If we're selling high ticket over the phone, which, by the way, anybody listening who's getting started, I highly, 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 highly recommend you get started trying to sell something for at least $3,000. It is way easier to get somebody on a phone call and sell them for $3,000, even if you're terrified of sales, than it is to try and make that type of money, especially if you're not a world-class copywriter just running traffic around and building things to funnels. It's possible to do that stuff. We have funnels running that do things, but like took us a long time to get there. So the 7 or 7 is perfecting your sales process, knowing what it is it takes people to buy. I always recommend, again, solving a big problem that you can sell for a certain amount of money that people pay for. And if you are solving a problem that you might not think is a lot of money, let me give you some examples of people who I know who are solving problems for way more money than you probably think they are. I know weight loss people selling $5,000 weight loss programs. I know people selling $4,000, bulimia eating programs. Like there's stuff that you can do in every market. It doesn't always have to be business related either. Business, sure, it's easy when you can attach ROI. It can be easier, but you can do this solving any type of problem. Like if you think about it, humans spend so much money trying to solve their problems, and especially from the material side, the amount of money people spend trying to feel that pain, and buying new clothes and new stuff. It's like they'll spend money to solve problems. I promise you, that's for sure. So if you are selling over the phone, or if you're buying consulting clients, things like that, just double your rates and see what happens. Okay, 1.5 extra rates and see what happens. Then double them, because I promise you, there's people out there willing to pay.
Yeah, it's so true. You have to find out what problem you want to actually solve, but also where do you want to be in terms of your business model. And one thing that I think resonates with people, if you break it down in this simplistic format, is there's really like only a couple different categories that people spend money on. One is their family and especially their kids and their dogs or pets, right? People spend so much money on their kids and their pets. So what problem can you solve in those particular niches, right? The next thing is their health. Health is such a huge category, but there's so many niches in between the cracks and the crannies that you could exploit and help people solve those problems. Is it, intermittent fasting? Sure. That's
I know a guy doing $100K a month on a $497 course on improve your gut health.
There you go. Exactly.
I mean, just gut health. People who do autoimmune for the clients and doctors we work with at BTOP for the holistic doctors who are selling, $7,000, $8,000 packages on this type of stuff, right? And again, it's not to rip people off, but it's to people who pay attention. So it's important to know that, like, it's really big. And then, like I said, health, wealth, relationships, right? The three things, the 3 things people buy in. If you aren't sure where to look for those, but people spend money all the time on all kinds of crazy crap, right? And so it's not that hard if you know their pain points and their problems to go out there. And if you have a good solution, like don't overlook the ability to have a good solution. One thing I'll bring up as well, if you are selling supplements or a physical product, you can still attach higher ticket value to those if you are getting started. Like if you are selling a hardcore camping flashlight, well, why not sell a course on hardcore camping for $497 on the best places to camp and the best things to do here, right? Or if you're selling, a supplement, why not combine it with weight loss training, right? So you can get reoccurring. There's so many ways that you can mix and match products and things like that to boost up the customer value. It's crazy. That'd be a whole nother phone call, but just know that you can do high ticket just with products as well.
Yeah, I mean, you're a marketing whiz, so we could literally talk about this stuff, and we have for hours. So it is something to just note, though. Once you have your clear problem and your solution, be it a course, be it a digital product or a service or a physical product, whatever it is, then see what you can add to that product or service to then increase the customer value. And maybe it is a simple upsell, ebook, or maybe it's a coaching session with you where you do trade a little time for money, but you can, get paid handsomely for it, right? It is something where once you have your customer's wallet open, offer them more things, like truthfully, I'll just give you a silly story, but there's a guy here, we're heading to Montana soon, and he just came to buy a mirror that Steph's slanging, she's a offer up queen. And he came, he had a nice truck. I said, hey man, I got more stuff out back. You want to take a look? So he goes, he buys my bike, he buys all this other crap, and I'm like, I got this. And he's okay. He zelled me money right there on the spot. And he came for a mirror. You know what I mean?
That's amazing. Dude, people love to buy. We tend to forget that. Like, people love to buy things. Like, humans, civilians act as if when you're getting into this, just know that you've got to become a marketer when you're starting your business. Yes, you want to be an entrepreneur, but you have to learn how to market your services if you want to succeed long term. But here's the thing. You might think that because all your friends or your family, civilians, as I've called them, difference between entrepreneurs, I don't mean that in a negative way. They all say, oh, I hate advertising, or I hate marketers, or I hate all this. Well, every data in the history of mankind shows the exact opposite. People buy like fucking crazy. It's why people will spend billions of dollars on advertising and marketing, because it works. So don't listen to the people who are complaining or saying, oh, well, you shouldn't market like this, or you shouldn't market on Facebook, or, people love to buy things, man. They just love to buy. Don't be afraid to market your product or services and sell them more stuff if they want to buy more stuff, right? You obviously you need to sell good products or else you're not going to last long, but sell them more stuff. Like really, just do it. Like,
yeah, a great point. What are some of those marketing musts that we as entrepreneurs and as business owners and as entrepreneurs need to know in order to really market effectively?
So the number one thing you have to know when you start marketing yourself and you market effectively is you're going to get hated on. That's the biggest thing. And that's the biggest challenge. The biggest challenge. Sema, right? Sema, she's like the most kind-hearted.
She is a sweetheart.
She's running ads right now for one of her products, and somebody was saying, like, warning, this is a scammer, right? I had somebody write something on mine this morning, one of my advertising things that said something like, oh, this guy just doesn't know what he's talking about. He's breaking privacy laws in a video, which I wasn't. People are going to hate on you. And there's a great quote by Dan Kennedy that can help a lot with this. If you're not upsetting somebody by noon every day, you're not marketing hard enough. Right. So here's the thing. If you're going to grow a business, you're going to get hated on. People in the community. Look, here's the thing. And I just want to ease this pain because this is a big one, a huge one for when people start marketing, especially when they start running advertisements and it gets shown to random people. Almost everybody's miserable. If you look at the data and the stats, most people are filled with anxiety, filled with depression, upset, angry, victims. And that's why they're lashing out. Like I see those comments now and now I just feel bad. I literally send love for the individual because I'm like, I'm sorry that you are so upset right now that you are going to go on an ad. And one guy wrote me like an entire book last week or 2 weeks ago. Like literally, like it must have taken him 2 hours to write the thing. And I saw it on the comment. And I'm like, and I'm just like, geez, man, like I feel bad for you, bro. So understand that nobody who does anything big or goes out there and tries to do things doesn't have haters. Russell Brunson, there's people calling him the scam artist of the 21st century. There's people saying that he's built the biggest ultimate MLM period. It's just people hate Mark Zuckerberg. It doesn't matter who you are, you're going to get hated on. So that's the number one thing. Understand that when you market, some people aren't going to like it, and that's okay. They were never going to buy from you anyways. We only need a very small percentage of the market to buy. Everyone else is going to go about and start hating on the next person the next day. Like their comment lasts a lot longer in your brain than it does in their brain because they just write something and fire it off and then just move on to hating something else and hating their lives, right? But it can stick with us, and I get that. So I want to have empathy, but understand that that's going to be your biggest battle. The next thing is you got to study marketing. Like that's it. Like you got to study marketing, and then the third thing is you've got to realize this is the biggest one. Well, not the biggest one. The biggest one is the mindset. This is the second biggest one. The only way to get good at marketing is to market, and by that I mean you have to stop thinking and start doing. The market will tell you what works. Do I have an idea of what's going to work, and can I guess right? More often than your average person? Probably. But am I right 100% of the time? No. Because if I go 1 for 10, I just made a boatload of money. And that's the way I see it, right? If you go 1 for 10, you can just pound that into the ground and then you make a ton of money and really scale up your services. So understand that most marketing is going to fail. Frank Kern says it beautifully. He's like, when a marketing campaign works right out the gate, in this business, we call that a miracle. Right? People think, oh, I spent $100 or $1,000 one time and I didn't make any money. It's like, okay, well, what about the next 1,000? What, are you just going to stop? There's no business on the planet that grows past 7 figures or makes any real type of income that doesn't advertise in some way. I mean, and yes, there's referral stuff, but like I'm talking like removing yourself in real automated businesses. If you're building a referral and you just want to work and do that, that's cool. But anyways, market a lot and understand that you're going to get hated on. That's it.
Yeah. I mean, there's haters out there, y'all. You have to just realize it. Don't let it brush that dirt off your shoulder and keep it on.
Give them compassion. As hard as it is in the moment, give them compassion, because think about how angry they must be in their life to make a comment like that towards someone they don't know and they haven't met, right?
Yeah.
You've got to, I mean, you got to really think, you got to be a real special kind of messed up individual to do that. And so like, just let it go, you know, like it was funny. And Russell's podcast was talking about it yesterday. I've been talking about this for like a week or two because some of his ads have been up. He was talking about this, and he was just talking about how like his best performing ad had like so many haters on it. And that people were like saying that, Russell, you talk too fast. You need to learn how to market. This ad will never make money. And he's just sitting there looking at his bank account. It's like, this ad is working the best I've ever done. You know?
Yeah.
Be ruthless online.
Yeah.
I don't know why. And if you're listening to the show, you're making a positive impact. You're doing a better thing. But most people don't think like us, which is probably why you love this show so much. And I love hanging out with Carrie and all that, because you know, I don't deal with any negativity ever. If any, not even from family. If there's family negativity, I'm like, nope, see you later.
Yeah. Bye, Felicia. Yeah, it is true. You have to really control your input, know who you're surrounding yourself with. You are the sum of your 5 closest relationships. We've said it before. You have to be rounding up people. And it's just a fact of life. If you are putting yourself out there and you are building a business and a brand, you're going to get haters, but you've got to keep going. And you have to iterate. Like my first course launch completely flopped. I've failed at least 3 legit startups now currently, like years of just failure. But that's how I continue to just push forward and learn from my lessons and then make better decisions in the future. So you can't get discouraged.
It took us a year to get our first client.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, yeah.
A digital marketing agency. And then all of a sudden it just went like freaking ham and crazy once I understood what I just shared with you. I didn't have a niche. I didn't have a real problem I was solving. All these things, everything I just shared with you and we talked about on this call is built out of the fires and the depths of not only doing it myself multiple times, but also coaching and working with other people to do the same thing. You got to keep going. Just try something different. Fuck it. Like,
yeah, for real. So I want to run through those one more time and the 7 steps to starting your online business. Find the niche, right?
Yep.
Also discover the problem that you're solving. Create a solution.
Yep.
Understand the frustrations and the pains of your customer.
Yep.
Get clear on the messaging and where your target avatar hangs out. Yep. You have to know that. Build the funnel in order to capture the leads and the data, and then optimize the sales process, right?
That's it. Those are the 7 fundamentals. Everything there. And most people skip straight to the funnel and the sales process. And it's like,
yeah, right.
Money is made understanding the frustrations, the problems, the pains, and building a good solution. Like, that's where the money is made.
Yeah, man. Well, I like to give the happy hustlers out there tangible happy hustle hacks in a couple different areas. And I want to just ask it to you real quick, then jump into the rapid fire round. Then we'll say goodbye because I want to respect your time. Now, in terms of health, I know health is a priority for you. What are some of your non-negotiable happy hustle hacks for health that you could share with the listeners?
Oh my gosh, I have so many.
I know you do.
Anthony and all that. All right. So the biggest one is I go to bed really early and I get up really early every single day.
You do.
I go to bed at like 9. I wake up at like 4, 3:30. So that's huge for me to have a regular bedtime schedule. Number 2, every single morning, apple cider vinegar, freshly squeezed lemon juice, pink Himalayan salt. Number 3, I almost 95% of my meals I eat paleo. I very rarely have anything outside of that. For that, really quick for people, it's no gluten, no cheese, no fried food, no stuff that you might think is all the fun in life. But I've learned to just love it. I care about my energy more than anything else. And then number 4 is just exercise. You got to exercise. And honestly, if you're not exercising, I don't think you're a serious entrepreneur. And I know that sounds mean, but I don't think you are, because energy management and conservation is the absolute key to becoming an entrepreneur and building one. And exercise is a critical part of that. So those are my health keys.
Those are great. And that is a strong but true statement that it's like, if you don't care about your body, the thing that's actually going to, help you in every different facet of your life enough to work out just 30 minutes a day, then you're obviously not serious about your goals and accomplishing them. So at least I agree with that. Now let's talk about a happy hustle hack for money. I know you've made millions. I know you've probably lost, tons of money. What are some happy hustle hacks for money that you use to spend smart, invest smart, and save smart?
Well, I barely spend money on anything. So the number one big thing is to not raise your expenses when your income rises. That's critical. I don't not buy things just because of not buying it, but we're still smart about it. Like I don't really care that much about materialistic stuff. 20%, actually it's probably more for us, but I would recommend 20%, minimum 10% of every dollar you earn should go in a wealth account that you can invest later. Pull it right out the top the minute you get it, because if you aren't doing that, you'll figure out a way to spend it for most people. So build a wealth account, 20%, look to invest on that, save the cash. Is huge. That's my big things in regards to saving. And if you want to make more money, learn how to sell, learn how to market and sell. Like I don't care whether you're an introvert or you hate people. If you never want to worry about money again, learn how to sell. Like if you can, I can put up a funnel right now in like just about any market, get them on the phone, close them a $5,000 deal. And that provides a very strong sense of freedom. But it took years. It took a lot of time to get to that point, but you'll never have to worry about eating again if you know how to sell stuff.
Love that. I just did an episode on the high ticket sales process that I used to close over, $500,000 part-time last year, in coaching and services. And it's really a process. That's what it is. It's not my magic. It's not your it's a process, and you can't skip steps, and you have to hit them all, and you go through the emotion and how to, sales are the lifeblood of any business. So if you want to eat, go learn sales.
Great. In Belfort either. You can be introverted and behind a computer. It's literally just asking the right questions in the right order. That's it.
Yep. There you go. Let's talk about spirituality, because I know you're deeply spiritual and you practice, meditation and you believe in a higher power. I know that. So what is a happy hustle hack for your spirituality that you use? Yeah,
man. So I've spent a lot of time thinking about this and studying this and looking at this. And it's one of the keys to living in a constant state of gratitude and peace, under something out there. One of my keys anyways. Right. And one of the keys is I believe in a universal force, life force, we'll call it source, that is there for us, that we can attune into it and we can connect with it. And then I'm grateful for it. So every morning I sit in gratitude for it. I work to appreciate everything every single day. I appreciate the trees. I appreciate everything around us, the beauty of the sunrise, the clouds, the rain. It's been raining a lot down here in South Florida. Yes. I've been appreciating the lightning and the thunder and how powerful this universe is and connecting with that. I also study pretty heavily and intensely Buddhist philosophies and Stoic philosophies as well. Now I'm open and I read all kinds of stuff that, Christ talks about, and even Muhammad, all the great spiritual teachers, Krishna, those guys, right? I'm not going to call myself an expert, but they all say very similar things. Happiness comes from within. Happiness comes from living in the present moment. Being able to be present, appreciate what you have is the key to happiness. I have murals all on my walls that say things like, success is not the key to happiness. Happiness is the key to success. Enjoy every moment that you have, and then happiness will follow you. So yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on spirituality. I'm big into that, understanding your mind and how to rewire your brain. If any of you think that you're controlled by the monkey brain, you're not. You don't have to be. It's possible to rewire things and rechange things. And yeah, living in gratitude.
So well said. Love that. I'm so grateful for you and that I asked that question, because you just dropped knowledge bombs in terms of spirituality. And happiness is the key to success. And happiness comes from within, guys. Don't allow the materialistic things that you're chasing to dictate your success. It really is right here and being present.
Yeah, I know people who make more than I do, and people even before I was, and I'm still not like, Bill Gates, or not even, not like money rich or anything like that. But like, I know people who make more and who are so stressed out all the time, anxiety, depression. I wouldn't trade lives for them for anything. No. Even where I was a couple of years ago, because I was still just enjoying the ride. We just got to enjoy the wave, enjoy the ride of life. And, that's interesting. Like whenever something pops up, oh, that's interesting. How are we going to do this one? Yeah. I almost look at it like as a 3D game, like I'm an actor in a play. It's like, what should I do here? Right? Yeah. Today, most people take life way too seriously. We have a short time on this life. Lower the importance of everything, including your outcomes. Have some fun with it. Shit happens. What are you going to do? Things get crazy. We've lost $250,000 on call floors. I've lost $60,000. I've had $6,000 losses in months. I mean, we've had big losses, right? And just kind of, what are you going to do? You just move forward, right?
Exactly. The adversity is going to happen. It's how we respond, and it's our attitude that allows us to persevere past whatever challenges come our way. So focus on happiness within, y'all, and staying present in the moment. Love that. Let's dive into the rapid fire round, Nick. Are you ready? This is where we just
roll.
All right. Woo! First thing that comes to mind. Favorite movie?
Oh man, I would say Dumb and Dumber. But that
favorite food? Go.
Chicken nuggets.
Oh, favorite book?
Oh my gosh, A New Earth, Eckhart Tolle.
What's your spirit animal?
I was gonna say lion because that's my sleep animal chronotype. So lion.
Best business advice?
Learn how to sell.
If you could have one superpower, what would it be?
Sell even better. Literally, I'd like to sell even better. I'm serious. Like I can't say enough about how important the importance of learning how to sell is.
Yeah. One biohack that you couldn't live without?
Ooh, meditation.
One word you wish to be synonymous with your name for the rest of your life?
Happiness.
3 things you're most grateful for right now?
Oof. Being alive. Being alive. Sema, she's on here. And right now, it's probably I'm looking at palm trees, South Florida, and the beauty of the palm trees. I wanted to live here for years when I was in Utah and all that stuff. I visualized it, saw it. So those are the 3 things right now.
Awesome, brother. Where can people go to learn more about you, to potentially even work with you? Where can they follow you online? Give us some links.
Yeah, so the best place to go learn more is on Instagram, at Nik, Nikd Robbins. I post stories on there every day. I've got a link to my YouTube channel, tons of free content, all that good stuff. And if you're an agency owner and you want to chat, watch my stuff first. And if you get some good value, I'd love to talk with you. But if not, hopefully you got some good things. I just want the world to be a happier place, man. Like I really do. That's it. That's the driving force. And you can do that via business is a great vehicle to achieve that, understanding those things. And yeah, at Nik D Robbins, Nikd Robbins on Instagram. And I interact with everyone. So shoot me some messages. We'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, he's got a amazing Instagram with tons of valuable wisdom dropping every single day. Definitely recommend following him at Nik D Robbins. And anything else you want to say to the happy hustlers out there before you ask you the final question?
Just keep going.
Love that. All right, Nick, thank you so much, man. I appreciate you and just want to acknowledge you for sharing your love and light with the world and continuing to add value and happiness and joy to this beautiful planet. Now, last question. What does happy hustling mean to you?
It means enjoying waking up in pure gratitude, doing what you love so you can serve other individuals.
Boom. Love that.
So you can get to that point. It feels so good.
Man.
You might not always do it at first, but just keep grinding and get to it. That's what I
mean. Awesome, brother. Thank you so much for just dropping knowledge bombs galore today. This was awesome.
Of course, brother. Great talking with you. We'll be in touch soon, man.